Excited today to have Joseph Ghabi with me. However, what I think is most auspicious is that we had some technical glitches, so we actually started January 11th, 11:11 a.m. So take that for what it is, but I think it's quite wonderful. So I'm Dana J. Smithers. I am one of the Emotion Code Divas, and with the Emotion Code Diva Show, which we have every Wednesday, we like to educate and bring some interesting and inspiring people on the show. So I have done some of Joseph's programs in the past, which have totally changed my life about relationships and how I look at relationships. So I'm very excited to have him on the show today. So I'll just give you a little bit of background about Joseph. Joseph P Ghabi is the founder and CEO of the Free Spirit Center. When you hear the words mystic, spiritual teacher, or numerologist, Joseph may not fit the picture that comes to mind. You see all the art behind Joseph as well. He has a story about that. But anyway, it's progressing as he goes along. So interestingly enough, Joseph is a former engineer, banker, an international sales manager. His past is packed with degrees and certifications given only to people of science and logic. So we're going to find out what happened. Joseph is known worldwide now as a healer and a visionary. His unique approach to healing the pain of your past has been perfected from years of working with clients and training holistic practitioners. He's also an expert numerologist, holistic healer, spiritual leader, and he speaks out on topics ranging from relationships, law of attraction, to life purpose, and past histories. He's well known for his expertise in healing childhood trauma. As a natural medium and a minister of metaphysics, Joseph has chosen to devote his life to working with healing energy. He is presently earning a PhD in metaphysical counseling, and he's also in the process of doing some rebranding with his business. We won't have time to go into that, but in the meantime, we are going to talk about soul contracts and soul agreements. So I met Joseph, I guess it's a couple years ago, Joseph, that I took your soul to soul connection level 1. And in that, you go through, David Hawkins has what's called a map of consciousness, and all the lower emotions are down here on the chart. And in the level 1, Joseph guides you, and you do a lot of work though on your side to get rid of those soul contracts or agreements, or get them to a place where you're able to live with them or deal with them. So Joseph, I did not know what a soul contract was or agreement was when I took your program. So please enlighten us.
Well, we all come here for a reason. We're not coming just for the sake of coming for me to go work in McDonald's or to go be an engineer or be whatever it is. It's all good what we do, but we are coming for a reason. We have something behind it. We have things that we need to learn about ourselves. And in order to learn about ourselves, that means we need to agree with some people on this plane that to give us an experience in order to grow out of it.
Right.
But not to be stuck in it.
Right.
There's a big difference, because that we have a purpose at the end, that we have to use what we learned from those experiences. That's why we signed the soul agreement with other people, in order to provide us the experience. How tough the experience or how easy the experience, it doesn't matter. All what matters is we need to get out of it. Instead of being stuck.
Where do we make these agreements, Joseph?
We make them from a soul level before we come then into here. So if I'm coming down on the same day that I chose my birthday, the soul maybe 100 years before that start to plan the lifetime. So let's imagine that we're meeting in a big room, and there's a lot of souls, and the chosen souls that your soul is already aware that they're going to be at the time when this soul wants to be there. So many choose to be there. So the soul asks around the table, I'd like to learn maybe 100% about forgiveness or 100% about trust. But let's take forgiveness, for example. And if somebody wants to have 100% about forgiveness, that means the experience is going to be really tough.
Okay.
So the room might went silent. Nobody wants to do this job. So then your soul asks something else, and maybe at that point your mom chose it. That means now your dad got stuck with the other one. So you chose those. The parents, we choose them because they are the most suited for the experiences we need to learn about ourselves.
And we
So
agree to those experiences before we come to this human scene.
100%. We agreed on them. We are aware of them. We are coming to learn something about ourselves. Now, certain experiences, for example, if I did something to you in a past lifetime, we're coming into this one for you to give it back to me in order to learn how you felt
Okay.
about it. It's like because karma keep returning into its own self. So whatever you give in is gonna come back at you in order to learn the experience. What I did to you in a past lifetime. So this time I need to have the remedy of it in order to have it more going into the understanding for me to learn about what happened.
So
But
why is it, Joseph, that patterns keep repeating then? What's going on?
because
People
we're
keep
not close
teaching the
enough.
same type of relationship, right? Or have the
Yes.
same health issues.
Okay, let me back a little bit off. Now, I chose my mom, my dad, my brother, sister, everything that we decided to grow into this experience.
And your wife and
Now,
your children.
everything has been planned.
Okay.
Now, if I have the lesson to learn from my dad, for example, I chose a dad that he's alcoholic, always drinking, emotionally unavailable. And I never addressed that problem in my life. Now we have secondary agreements for people that gonna come to reflect the same experience we had with dad. So when you leave home at 19, what would be the first experience you're gonna encounter? Somebody drinking,
Gotcha.
emotionally unavailable,
Yeah.
and you will stuck in that pattern until you learn the experience of that pattern. Otherwise, you're stuck in it.
Right.
So you have to address, but I don't want you to address your boyfriend or girlfriend at that point. I want you to address dad because
Yeah.
he's the original one.
Right. And so when I did the program with you, the soul to soul connection was, I think, about 14 weeks online. And then we meet with you for an hour in conversation, but we do the work, right? So, we're going through all these past agreements and some not very pleasant things come up
Yes,
during
but
that.
remember why you do it yourself because healing, you need to be involved in it. It's not like I'm going to have you to sit on the table, let me heal you.
Yeah.
Then you're not learning anything out of it.
Right.
So in order to stop the pattern, you need to go a little bit through the experience in order to wipe it out.
Right.
But it has to be your job doing it, not me. It's not my responsibility. It's become your responsibility because you want to empower yourself with that
Right.
experience.
And that's what I loved about the program is that I had to do my own work. I mean, I then after do emotion code. I know you've done some TEP healing modalities with me, but still the initial work is with ourselves. And yes, we can have Reiki or other healing
Whatever
modalities.
modality, yeah.
Exactly, but the work is all with ourselves. So are there, good or bad soul agreement? And are they contracts or agreements? Is there a difference between that, Joseph?
Some people they feel comfortable with contracts. Some people feel
Same thing.
comfortable with agreement. It's the same thing. It's
Okay.
only a choice of word. So it's the same thing. But yes, there is a bad agreement, and yes, there is a good agreement.
Oh,
Because we need to have the duality, the
yeah.
balance.
Yeah, we want some good stuff right in our life.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not everything. We're not here as a punishment. You know, we're not here to suffer. We're here because what is your purpose here? The number one purpose for all of us is at the end of our life to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled, regardless what you do.
So some people that continue to suffer over and over and over, are they just not mature enough to learn their lessons, or what's going on
No,
there, Joseph?
no, it's not about maturity, it's about a choice. Sometimes
Oh,
we
until
have
they go, okay, I've had enough.
I had enough. Sometimes we have to hit bottom in order to get up again.
Yeah, I
So,
definitely agree with that. Yeah.
you know
On
what I
my
mean?
spiritual journey, yeah, that for me, that's when I was 35, and I did not like where my life was going. I didn't really know how I was going to get out of it or what I was going to track or even that I was going on a spiritual journey, but I just said enough. And so that's when I did that, then lots of really good stuff started to
Yes.
come my way.
It's in a way you have to give yourself the permission that it's okay to go through it.
Yeah.
That's all. But otherwise, you get stuck into a repeated pattern. And if you don't address the pattern at one point, it brings diseases to us. It brings pains to us. It's to make us pay attention again.
Right. And so
We attract those.
when people, I know you and I have talked a lot about cancer, or we've talked about eating disorders and things like that. So, in your opinion, why do these happen? Where do they come from?
Look, when I used to work with people with any disease, so to me, the disease is a symptom. It's not the problem.
Right.
It's it's based on a feeling that was stuck in us, and we're having resistance to let it go.
So an emotion.
Now, an emotion, and that emotion could be in our etheric field on the outside, but it's been for too long, and it's been not making us move. We're stuck. So your soul, in a way, will push on us a disease, because this is on a human level. This is the only thing that wakes us up
Right. So the
in
wake
a
up
bigger way.
calls.
It's a wake-up call. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And for me, still, if I'm working with somebody with cancer, or I'm working with somebody with whatever it is, I don't even need to know what they have,
Yeah.
because it's a symptom. I need to see from whatever they're feeling, for whatever they have, what's the feeling behind it, and we start the work from there.
Right. And I know you and I have had conversations about young people with bulimia or anorexia. And can you talk a little bit about that?
You see, when you talk to somebody with anorexia or bulimia, the first question I'll ask them, what is the problem? Most of the time they're gonna tell you is, and I have anorexia, but what's the problem behind it? Now, I said in anorexia or bulimia, you are into something that you're controlling it yourself. Who was controlling your life? Immediately they say mom or dad. That's the problem. So we have to go and release the feelings that that person has towards mom and dad. If Because otherwise that they won't release the other stuff that they have, because it's all connected.
Right, got it. So it's these feelings down here, right? The
These
shame,
are this, yeah. The,
the grief.
we start with shame, and we go all the way to desire on the map of consciousness for Dr. Hawkins,
Yeah,
and because these are the biggest feelings,
yeah,
and then we can branch out from those feelings. We all have some other feelings here and there, but they will be included into the feeling, because when you have the shame on the bottom, if you have a lack of trust, is gonna go on top of it. If you have another feeling, gonna be on top of it, on top of it. But
yeah,
if we start going from up down, that means we're gonna work each feeling at the side. But if we go from down, remove that, all of these will fall,
yeah.
because they have no support anymore.
Right, right.
So
And so,
it's
Joseph, would this be the same with people that really have financial difficulties their whole life? Is that, would that be some kind of soul contract that they made before they came here? How would that play out?
Yes, there is a soul contract, because money is about, look, money has no feeling itself as
Yeah,
a feeling.
yes,
Money is energy. Now, if that person grew up in an environment of a consciousness of poverty, grew up with the poverty, so they've been programmed through that. So they need to release the feelings that they had at that time. Now, for some of us, they grew up into a household that they always talk badly about money, if money doesn't grow on trees, for example, and all of the emotional baggage behind it, if they don't release that, they will always stumble into energetic field. Now, if I took numerology, from the numerology, I know that the vibration 4 and 8 affect finance. If they have lack of that into their name, maybe we have to adjust something into the name or adjust for them to understand what's happening in my life, why I keep having that pattern.
Right.
So, because your name and your date of birth affect everything also. So it's all combo. We come up with a package.
Yeah.
You know,
So I
all of
also
us
took a numerology course from you, and I found it fascinating. We do all sorts of numbers, and I always used to say to you, "Hey, I'm not a numbers person," right? And you'd say, "Get over it," right? So tell us a little bit about numerology, because I know you've been a well-known expert. You used to have a podcast show about that. So how does numerology affect soul contracts or our life on this planet?
Because when you come into this world, you chose your date of birth. Even if you came cesarean or whatever it is,
Yeah.
even if you came ahead of time, it's all well designed that way. When you were born into that family, even if you were born for 5 days, the first 5 days, then you've been adopted to some other family, it's all by design. Because you need to go into that route. Because that family here cannot have kids, maybe, so you have to go through another channel.
Right.
So it's all designed that way. We don't need to take it in a bad way. We don't need to start feeling abandoned because my parents left me or anything else.
So
It's
these would
by
be
design.
soul contracts as well.
It's all soul contract.
Okay.
Everything
Okay.
is soul contract. If you have a stepdad, stepmom, adopted dad, adopted mom, or whoever it is,
Yeah.
what you have, it's all by
We've all
design.
agreed.
It's all agreed. So if you start putting into your mind that if I agreed with mom to give me this headache, why am I complaining about it? So let me release the feeling that mom left in me to free the energy from my side, and this way I can allow newer energy to come to me.
Right.
That's all what it is. It's about an energy stuck in here. Like if I say to you one feeling, immediately you have a pinched nerve here start to happen. You fix it. Go have a massage or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's fixed. Then 2 days after, somebody else said the same feeling. Now you still have it back again.
Yeah.
That means that feeling is stuck in here.
Right. And so when people get backaches over and over and over, it just means that those emotions haven't been released or that agreement hasn't been. So Joseph, talk about how we actually clear the agreement.
The way it came to me from 30 years
Yeah,
ago
because I
from
know
my
yours
own.
is different than other people, right?
It came to me from my own guides. I have a spiritual counsel, and the spiritual counsel showed me how I'm supposed to do it. So I didn't read a book about it. I didn't take a course with anybody about those things. It was downloaded to me.
Okay.
Now, I've been using it for almost 30 years. I take everybody through meditation. And if somebody was with me 30 years ago and they are with me today, it's the same meditation.
Yeah.
It's not like it's changed.
Right.
And because your subconscious, I have to treat your subconscious as a 9-year-old kid. Or 6-year-old kid. So it's not going to be
So inner child work then, that's what's going on?
Yeah, because I need to speak, like if you say today I have a good relationship with mom, I don't need to cut my energy with mom. I said, no, but that's not the problem. The problem is basically when you were at age of 5, how was your relationship with mom? That's where the problem, not today.
Right.
Today is not the problem. You might mended all the problem with mom today, but if that inner child still have whatever lack of the feelings that was stuck from that point, that's what is giving you the problem today.
So in meditation, I know that, I'm listening to them, so I find myself in a special place. I go to this special island, and then I start in a, deeper meditative mode to imagine myself at that early age, correct?
Yeah. And even if some people that they have difficulty to bring an age, I suggest always bring a picture.
Yeah. Which I did. I had to go to my some old photo albums and get pictures because Yeah, I have a lot blocked out from not so much now, but I did when we first started. It's like I don't remember anything, and I take it. So I had a lot of pictures.
That's good.
Exactly what I did.
That served you well at that point,
Yes. Yeah.
because it's the only way. Is if I don't remember it, let me see if I have a picture.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, ask mom or dad for some picture if they
Yeah.
have them, or whoever is, and get those pictures because you just need the visual part of it.
Right.
That you feel I have that personality of 5 years old or 7 years old
Yeah.
or whatever years old that was stuck.
Right.
And it's not about freeing you today, it's about freeing that inner child that has been stuck all these life. Like I have some people comes for a regular healing and they say, I, I, I have pain if I move my hand, if I have pain if I do this or I do that. Now I'll ask them, bring me the inner child now who have something to do with this pain.
Yeah.
And then immediately comes the 6 years old, the 8 years old, the 9 years old, whatever age that showed up.
That's fascinating.
Because that's the one who's given you the pain today to remind you, I'm stuck. Where are you going? I'm stuck here.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
and
And even when I do emotion code, there'll be times when I actually have to go back to an age and, I'll start at present day. And I usually go back in 10-year segments. And often I get down, sometimes even into the prenatal, the third month trimester or something. Occasionally I have gotten a past life, but normally it's the, the, in the trimester, the third month, or age 3 or 4 or 5. It's never it's usually give or take a year. It's not necessarily specific, but definitely I do that with emotion code as well and find that yep, that's why I like the inner child work as well.
look, the inner child work is great because first of all, you need to do the work yourself. And then if you use emotional code, emergence process, best bioenergetic synchronization technique, or whatever modality you use, it doesn't matter. That will be an additional
Yes.
tools to clear things from every level.
Right.
So that will be helpful. But you need to do first to initiate that I'm taking this energy out myself.
Yes. Yeah. And
And
that's what
that's
I
where,
loved about your program, that it, like as you say, some of them are just they're going to do it for you or whatever. And the emotion code does play a role in that, but not without doing that inner working. So now you've got so that was soul to soul connection level 1 I took, and you're working on another program now?
I'm working on level 2. Level 2 is to go from courage to enlightenment.
Okay, so we're
Uh,
going to go
and
from there. Yeah.
yeah, from here all the way to enlightenment. And the reason for that, because sometimes I'll give you an example. You were having a picnic with somebody you love, and you're enjoying your time with that person, with that picnic. From the tip of your eyes, you spot a bear somewhere. And the reflection in us is for you to go and start running and move on, because that bear is showing up. Now, what's stuck into your own memory somehow under the feeling of love, maybe there is some fear, something that happened. Or you were sitting into a joyful situation and you picked up a call that somebody passed away. So you might brought some grief. You know what I mean? It's
Yes.
only to free up the joy or those element, because sometimes there is something underneath it that is locking it not to expand to this full expansion. I don't want to release my guards so much because there might something happen.
Yeah.
From that angle, this is why it's good to clear all of these at the same time. And once I do that in that program, I'm gonna do the 4 pillars, which is the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. The mental and emotional, we already done the majority of it from the bottom, level 1, but
Right.
we're going to start emphasizing on level 2, in level 2 on the physical and the spiritual that we hardly speak about.
Right.
Because that's where you start getting connection with your own soul in
Right.
order to start expanding. What am I here for? What I'm supposed to be doing now? I learned about myself. I need to learn about trust. I need to learn about uh, loving myself. I need to learn about whatever the experience. We all have different experiences. There's no right or wrong in any experience, and there's no judgment to it even. So, but I need to take all of that ingredient from my side, and I need to start moving it forward in order for me to understand what's the soul decision to come here in the first place. So at the end of that program, I would like to go for a retreat, maybe in Greece or somewhere else. But I'd like to be next to water, and in order to let's work on your soul purpose. What is your purpose here? Because at least you already eliminated all the negativity from the feelings, and in order for you to start being more relaxed, more yourself, more bringing more your essence that we hardly touch sometimes, because we always think that I am that way because that's coming from my ancestry. So let me cut that ancestry if it's gonna be
Yeah, so
bothering
we
you.
do a lot of cord cutting
Yeah,
during your program as well. Maybe explain to people what that is. They may not know what cord cutting is.
I mean we all, like, if you think about me 5 times in a day, you're sending me a cord 5 times.
Hmm.
That means I have 5 times. If you have a headache now, I'm gonna feel your headache. You know what I mean? Now, how we can apply that in a regular, and it probably happened to you. How many times somebody ring the phone to you, and you know who's on the line?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why is that? Because when they thought to call you, they already send you the link. I'm calling you.
Yeah.
You know, and then you hear the phone. Oh, that must be my sister, my brother, my mom, my dad, or you pick it up on your own. Remember, we are soul being experiencing a physical experience.
Right.
We're still light being as we are. So when you are a light being, you can sense all of these attraction.
Energetically. Yeah.
Energetically. So when you have so many cords on you, and sometimes you feel I'm so heavy, then start cutting some of those cords that people send in all the way to you, left and right. And especially if you are a healer, if you are a practitioner of any sort, you're going to have a lot of cords sitting. And this is not the same cords that I cut into the program.
Right.
This is even cords that comes from your day-to-day activities with people.
So in law of attraction, we say that you have a vibrational bubble around you. So unless you're aware of it, everything that's coming your way is going into that bubble until you're mindful about it and stop that process. Yeah, different from the cord cutting that we do in the soul to soul connection, where we're cutting cords with people and energetically as well.
Yeah, and remember, like, if you want to try it, go walk into a bus, crowded, and wait for somebody to get out from their seat, and immediately go sit. You'll feel what that person have.
I don't know if I want to, Joseph.
No, but
Yeah.
if you want to go sit, you need to ask that energy to go with him or her.
Nice,
Then
I
you
like
have
that.
your
Yeah.
space.
So also when somebody leaves a room, I'll say that, take your energy with you.
Take the energy with you. That's all. I don't need it.
Yeah.
And that's very important to do that. This is the simplest stuff of the energy.
Yeah.
So,
and
because
taking
we
that
feel
minute
it.
or two just to meditate and remove that. So Joseph, I know we could go on forever about this, but I just kind of want to wrap up. But when you were talking, what I realized that so many people are talking about our life purpose, right? Like I have a program, I talk about life purpose and sacred gifts and all of that. But what dawned on me, and I'm sure you know this already, is you were talking about our soul's purpose. That's what your program is. It's not about our life human purpose. It's not about the job. It's not about the career. It's what was the soul intended to do here. I love that.
Remember one thing. You are like the ambassador of your soul.
Yeah.
We have ambassadors for every country, right?
Yeah.
I am the ambassador of that soul. So I'm only responding to that soul. I'm not responding to what I want.
Yeah.
Because I agreed with my soul. I signed an agreement with my soul to come fulfill this lifetime on the behalf of the soul.
So when something does come up, it's a matter of being mindful and just taking it to that other level rather than thinking, what's going on in this human scene, then what's my soul purpose here is a good question to ask.
Yes, it is. But remember one thing, your soul doesn't care what car you drive,
Yeah,
doesn't care where you live, doesn't care what job you want.
yeah,
All what your soul is already provided you with tons of gifts that you have,
yeah.
tons of
It's been,
anything that you have. You already packaged in a way that everything's sustainable for you in this lifetime if you choose to
yes,
use them.
if you choose. Yeah,
If you choose, if you don't choose, you don't choose. That's all,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know. But we all have them. It's
yeah.
part of the process,
Right.
Like if I go back to the other side, and the first thing I'm gonna rejoin back to the soul. The soul's gonna ask me one question: is everything has been fulfilled? No, because I didn't have money, I
Yeah,
didn't have this, I didn't have that. Now the soul said, "Have you? You didn't have money, great, but have you ever asked me that you want money? No, I didn't know that I can get it, but you can. You never asked because we all have a problem today in our life to receive, right? So if we're not able ourselves to receive,
yeah,
so that means we're not gonna ask.
yeah.
Because we all have the tendency to give to everybody. But how much we're giving to ourselves and how much we ask for help from others
Wow,
even.
that's a whole other show, Joseph, right? It's the ask, believe, receive in the law of attraction, right? So, Joseph, how can people get a hold of you then if they want to know more healing or numerology? Or I know that you're getting ready to rebrand yourself, but right now, where can they find you?
They still find me. They can find me on Facebook, everywhere on Facebook, so everybody can see that. And they can go to freespiritcenter.org, uh, freespiritcenter.org for my old site, but that's gonna change to soulvisionawakening.com.
And when do you think that's happening? A month or
It's
two?
gonna happen. Now we're branding. We're trying to have the logo and all the colors and whatever it fit with that new vision, and probably it's gonna be 2 months
Okay.
till
So,
I start having the website. But I still use the older site for the time being for the freespiritcenter.org. And
okay.
the way there is, that the .ca probably, but I didn't say the .ca because you're gonna write it TRE, but the .org doesn't matter. You write it the English way. So
Okay, yeah, I know the center is spelled differently. That's just great. So, Joseph, thanks so much for joining me on the show today. And I always learn something. Oh, the last question I forgot to ask. I wrote it down here. So, soul agreements are with people, animals, things,
everything,
situations.
everything. The way if for animals it's different a little bit. Now for animal, remember when I said earlier that your soul package you with a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
for gift, for everything. Now, the way I feel about animals, they are also part of that same soul that
Okay.
are sent your way to bring you. Like if you're coming for an experience with lots of grief, now having an animal with you and have more compassion, and you see that compassion start to turn you down out differently.
Right.
So that animal that came in a dog form or cat form or a bird or whatever is you were attracted to, they're coming to you because it is from a part of the same soul you are with them.
Okay.
So they're very compassionate with you. They're very, and they're here to aid you to move forward also.
Yeah, and I've
So
always been told that they're here for, healing. It's just that unfortunately, a lot of times people don't recognize that, and
they
uh,
are, they
but
are.
that's a whole other topic. Okay,
Yeah,
Joseph, thank you so much. And
no problem. Thank you for having me, Dana.
do you have a YouTube channel too, Joseph?
YouTube, we're working on it.
Oh, you're working on it. Okay, great. So freespiritcenter.org. You can find Joseph, or you can find him on Facebook, Joseph P Ghabi, or also under Free Spirit Center, I think, in Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. All right. And if you're looking for me, you can. Yep. Go ahead.
Or Google me. They'll
Yeah,
find me
or
there.
Google. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm Dana J. Smithers, one of the Emotion Code Divas. You can find me at empoweredwomeninbusiness.com. So thanks so much, Joseph. Really appreciate it.
My,
So
my pleasure.
yeah, learned a lot.
All right.